very much. Gonna come into game number 1, NAVI Junior against Falcons. Maybe little bro of NAVI can defeat Falcons and have them miss the playoffs, which would be a bit of a surprise. Skeeter already calling for mercy. Lacoste, I think next time I get asked for a draft analysis, I might need you in my ear, giving me a little bit of a...
Problem is I'm on the camera as well, so they will see that one. Yeah, it's a very overall good co-op game ever since the bottle change where you can't refill it. I mean, Monkey doesn't even, you know, have a bottle. This is not an item that he does buy, but playing into Queen of Pain, playing into Shadow Strike is going to make his lane very difficult. But we also seen heroes like Primal Beast, Monkey King, they can rotate relatively early on, especially if the lane is very bad for them. Difference between him and Primal Beast is that Primal Beast can creep skip. Monkey can't do that. He doesn't kill the creep wave as fast as Primal Beast does. So I think in this one they will have to take an L, but looking at also the whole squad of NAVI, they have good amount of team fight. They have very strong heroes, 3 very tanky heroes with the Sunray behind them.
PMA in trouble. He'll show his back, but body blocked by Skeeter. They'll get the kill, and it's first blood for Snake King. So already a good start here for Falcons.
This is not the hero that they wanted to give the first blood to. They were body blocking. They wanted to secure it for Malrine, but the double hit from Jakiro, I get he got a little surprised by Twin Terror Facet, dealing extra bit of a damage as well.
How does this bottom lane matchup go? If you want to see Monkey King move over lanes early, if the lane is not really playable, is it potentially a killer lane for NAVI Junior with the Shadow Shaman? Have some lockdown, have the Bristle, and then have Monkey King come over?
I don't know if they... Dragonite, you have that extra armor, of course. He's also starting with the Magic Wand. The Shaman doesn't provide you with that much damage early on. You also have high armor against Bristleback, which is nice. You also just gave away free First Blood to Snake King. So I think they're definitely going to be fine in this lane. Shaman needs to be the one who needs to be like more careful in this lane, considering what he's playing into. Quite a lot of it. Damage coming out from these 2 heroes. 1 stun into slow. This hero is going to die.
See how Zayat plays it. He is the captain of the team, and he is probably the guy who's got the most experience on this one. Let's see what his playmaking calls are. But you can already see this Monkey King pretty low on health. It's not a fun time against the Shadow Strike of this Queen of Pain, and it's only level 1 for now. It's only going to get tougher.
He got some good CS, though. He got 4 out of 5, but he only missed 1 creep, basically. But he might die because of it. And you can see that Malrine, he's thinking what he needs to go for, keeping a point open, whether he wants to blink out. Does have Bottle, which is getting delivered on the Courier right now, playing extremely aggressive. Niku still CSing nicely, 9 CS on him.
Trying to take these denies, as many as he can for the moment, before that Shadow Strike becomes too much, especially with the extra bit of regen that Queen of Pain will have with this bottle. Life gets a little bit tougher. And you're only working with that Boundless Strike, but level 1, that is a 24-second cooldown. There aren't many options. Skeeter in some trouble. Viscous Nades will go up to 4. And one more right click from Zayats to get the kill onto the DK.
He was ready. If that last stick didn't kill him, he would have a healing salve available. Now Queen of Pain, 2 points in Shadow Strike with the blink as well. Will refill the bottle. There's another water rune. Niku has Boots of Speed available, so he wants to get there as Tangos as well. Not an easy lane for him by any means, but still getting the most out of it. Playing much better than I expected him to play this lane, because it's a tough one. This next Shadow Strike, let's see if he's going to be able to sustain through it. Getting the levels, not dying, is pretty much all you need in this lane.
That's the tough part, right? Like, the damage is now just coming in constantly, where Niku, he has to either get the Jingu to try and heal, but if Malrine positions himself in a spot where you really can't get that Jingu off, he's in trouble.
If he gets close this time, he's going to get Shadow Strike. Malrine, unfortunately for him, only got that 1 water rune, refilled his bottle, but Niku, he's keeping the distance.
Trying to pressure under the tower.
Malrine is pinging it out. It's like if we get a TP rotation, we might be able to get the kill. Snake King does have TP available. Tinker, not the guy that kind of wants to TP in. He's not that aggressive as a support. He's going to be more focused on stacking in the triangle. And a little surprised that Crit's going to be playing this Tinker, not his traditional hero by any means.
Tinker getting a little bit more priorities. That's going to try and just stand his ground. Holding on with the shackle, but doesn't end up being enough to get an immediate trade. But now the damage on the PMA. Some viscous nasal goo for Snake King. Still not enough on either hero, and they'll pop their salvesing back up to about full health. Niku, he also got himself a salve, so he put himself back to a decent spot in health as well over mid.
Also picking up one of those water runes. So back to full HP. Rain, even though he was putting the pressure, Niku's still doing really well. Don't talk too much about the top lane. Amar. Where's he getting the CS from? There are no other units. He's like, if you look at the number 1 and number 2, he's sitting at 26 and 8. And he's gonna die. We just jinxed him.
Don't we? I didn't say anything.
When something bad happens, we are a team.
Yeah. Fair enough. He does die there, and it's just... I mean, yeah, you gotta slow him down. He was having what looks like a perfect lane up to that point. I will say I'm shocked the Monkey King's doing that well as well. 23 and 5. With all the harassment, he's done a very good job of keeping himself in that lane for the moment. And I say that he's already back to Fountain right now.
And he's fine. He's level 5 right now, so he can make a rotation if he wants to. We'll try to collect the extra bit of XP by coming to the mid lane, but this is the hero that can move across the map relatively fast.
So what's the difference here with Crit being on this 4 position, Tinker? What do you expect from him?
Pretty standard stuff. Holy Locket, Mech, Glimmer Cape, saving items, and then maybe start thinking how to scale. I think they also wanted to give him a little bit of extra farm priority, seeing the heroes that they do have. They don't really have these, like your offlane doesn't really farm the triangle really well, so I think he's gonna be the one getting most of that. Your mid laner is also kind of meh, so is your safe laner. So you can farm the big stacks, but you can't really farm the ancient stacks with the 3 heroes.
Mm-hmm. That'll give Tinker some priority, and you can see Crit's already 15 and 2.
That's what Tinker does. He is one of the greedier supports. Now they're gonna have to figure out who's going to be taking less farm, because if you look at some of the numbers, Amar takes quite a lot of farm on his team, very high percentage, and then you also have Snake King, who takes quite a lot of farm. Zayas making a move. They should be an easy kill.
Yeah, they have the Hex, they'll have the Shackles, they'll get another kill into Amar. Give Amar the juice, because they got the juice. This tier 1 tower over mid will take some damage with Snake King. Just putting some pressure on. But this is a good top lane for NAVI Junior. At least for right now, especially with Lifestealer that, at least at the moment, queued up the Armlet and the Radiance.
Yeah, I think I like Armlet this time around into Radiance compared to what we've seen, for example, yesterday when it was Pure who played it straight into Radiance, into S and Y, wanted to tank up as much as possible. I think he wants to become slightly more active, and also in terms of damage, some explosive damage. Sure, you have some from Quap, but Armlet could come in very handy against it, because you are going to be able to toggle. And then, yeah, seems like after that, he wants to tank up. Pretty standard stuff coming out from Lifestealer. And Panel did talk about how this is a very good Lifestealer game. There's not really many things that he's going to be afraid of other than Sonic Wave, which can be very good. You push him away, but it's not a lockdown towards his rage.
Now Marine's here with a haste room, blinks in front, Sonic Wave, and got
Level
the
5.
juice. Will be emptied out. Amar getting that kill. They've got just a bunch of heroes here to make sure that they can grab a second with the Ice Path locking down Riddies. That's 2 for Falcons, as they felt the pressure coming in from NAVI Junior in the top lane, so they have to clear it out, and they do so.
They also managed to kill the tier 1 tower in the mid lane, which is going to open up the map. Niku, he continues to farm up. He's in the bottom of all the cores, but I want to see a little bit more aggressive play coming out from him. He did very well in the lane, considering what he was playing into, but now needs to deliver. I mean, as we expected, 10 minutes in, you're going to be having least amount of farm when it comes down what you're playing into. And first rotation,
They'll go for Amar again. Good ice path. That lands onto the Monkey King. Lines up a spear on Niku. Down strike from a distance, but Amar's able to run. They go to the Wukong's command. The shackle from a distance. Skeeter's there to stop that, get the kill onto this Shadow Shaman of Zayats. They focus their attention on Malrine, who's able to blink away, and Niku with the Shadow Strike on himself has to try and walk away. And that won't be enough ticks to get the kill into the Monkey King. So NAVI Junior, they try, but the reaction from Falcons is good and enough to stop whatever NAVI Junior wanted to get done.
As long as Queen of Pain is staying away from Shadow Shaman, you're definitely going to be fine. They have really no lockdown whatsoever. You have Boundless Strike, which is not that much. Even with 1 point in Shadow Strike, sorry, 1 point in Blink, she's still going to be very fine when it comes down to him blinking into the middle of a fight and then managing to get out, especially because Tinker is going to be taking care of him. About to finish off his Holy Locket and has that defense matrix available, and this is going to be another tower. They're playing it so quickly. Skeeter does have Orb of Blight, so that's going to be extra damage. Synergizes nicely with his spell, considering that he is playing Corrosive Dragon Facet, so immediately goes to the bottom lane. And this is something that Skeeter does really well when he plays Dragon Knight. He plays it differently than other carries from the safe lane. He goes for the Blink Dagger. This is something that it is kind of his trademark, where he becomes more active and does allow other team members to scale. Skeeter's really not heavily farm-oriented player by any means.
The map kind of flip-flopped, right? Because NAVI Junior, they were trying to put the pressure on the Tier 1 tower. They almost get that Tier 1 tower. Then that gank comes from Malrine. They lose another fight. They lose that Tier 1 top. They've lost the Tier 1 mid. And all of a sudden, you know, Falcons, who have the longest average game time by quite a margin here, who play a little bit slower, are playing fast so far in this game. NAVI Junior are getting their map kind of cut down, and the areas to farm aren't exactly there.
Very difficult to make a move with this type of a lineup, especially because you have Lifestealer, Bristleback. These heroes don't want to be active. Bristleback is the guy who's going to keep farming in the triangle, as we're seeing. Falcons are doing the same thing. Some stacks were being made. So it needs to be Monkey. He needs to be paired up with 2 supports and go to one of those lanes and try to make something happen. But for now, he's just going to keep on farming in the jungle. I think if they keep farming like this, Falcons, they're going to get more out of the map, and they're also going to be pressuring the towers. So I think NAVI Junior is trying not to lose too much when it comes down to net worth. Shadow Shaman still level 5. So is Phoenix, 11 minutes in.
Yeah, it's so tough to just sit there and farm. It's something you want to do when you've lost fights back to back. But with a lineup like Falcons, it's not just the 3 cores that are getting farm. It's also crit on this Tinker, who is almost got as much farm as the mid Monkey King. Zayats, like you said, still just level 5. They can't put any pressure onto these towers if they can even push the lane that far forward with the Mass Serpent Wards. And you see it's just so much of the map from Falcons.
Yeah, I'm looking how greedy they're going on their heroes. Jakiro, position 5. It's going to be another kill here on Zayats. Jakiro going for Aghanim Scepter straight away. This is a bit of a new tech. This is something that Crit did a couple of days ago from position 4. And then Snaking was like, what if I do it from position 5? Because he is a bit of a greedy position 5 player, and then you're going to have so much pure damage, actually, that can kill Lifestealer.
Where is he going to get the farm? How much of the map is left for him?
Map is pretty big.
It is, but
somebody will need to sack some of the farm, but they're getting quite a lot out of the map. It is Blink Dagger now available on Dragon Knight. That's how you get the farm. The map is big enough, especially if you're able to farm in the enemy triangle 12 minutes in.
That'll certainly do it. And we'll see if he gets that first item, Ags. I queue that up in my pubs. I get kind of reported for that stuff, but, you know, I don't know how to farm the map nearly as well as these guys.
It's because you haven't proven yourself.
Yeah, why. I got to get in there. Hex on a Skeeter, but PMA can't really do anything. The lockdown cure for Na'Vi isn't exactly amazing.
No, it's Boundless. Couple
Shackle.
of spells from Shadow Shaman. That's about it.
So you've got a lot of elusive heroes here that, with the lack of lockdown, can really do quite a bit. Throwing a Shadow Strike every 4 seconds at level 4 on that, like, you just have the ability to throw out these dual breaths, ice paths, without really being afraid of getting locked down. There's no overwhelming lockdown that'll cause your death.
Look where NAVI Junior is farming. The map is very, very small for them.
Oh, Xayats level 6, but all of a sudden, oh, now they've got the Shackle. They'll go to the Supernova. The Balance Strike is there. They'll lose the Shadow Shaman, but it's worth it for the DK.
A little too aggressive. They were ready because the map, as we said, is very small right now where NAVI Junior can farm. They were very close to tier 2 towers, so they were very fast with reacting.
Very deep though.
Yeah, 3k gold lead for Falcons. They continue to farm up.
Keeping an eye on this
every single rune has been picked up by Malrine, other than those water runes. Talking about the power runes.
What's the if we have that queued up, what's the bounty rune difference right now? Because you know you're getting more gold for those supports. You'll get to that axe even quicker. No, it's early. The bounties aren't exactly worth the most amount of money, but Snake King, he's only 2,500 gold away from that axe. He's almost there. But Crit, he's got that Holy Locket going into the Solar Crest next.
Solar Crest is a very big item in this game.
Yeah.
Counters all 3 cores because they are all physical pretty much. NAVI Junior managed to stabilize the game at 3k deficit. Lifestealer. I think they're looking for a timing where Lifestealer has Radiance. You have an item on Bristleback. This is Blade Milk. He's buying into cheaper items, going for Shard next. And then you're going to have Monkey King with 1 item, maybe even Shard. I think he needs to get Shard ASAP on this Monkey so he can get out of trouble. It's going to be very difficult. He can get out of the arena, all these slows so he can't jump on the trees, damage over time. And they're going to be pretty full HP here after finishing off Tormentor thanks to Tinker. Crit is going to be the one getting it. Snaking not too happy about it.
Gets that Shard, gets that Warp Flare. Not the best Shard, but we've seen worse.
It's not too bad. Considering that you're playing against Lifestealer, if he doesn't have Rage against Bristleback, Monkey King, could be very helpful.
Yeah, he gets that Shard and finishing up the Pavis now. He's got more. Well, now with that Shard, he's got more farm than yeah, he's top 4 all of a sudden. I was looking towards the bottom half of the net worth list. I was like, oh, where's this Tinker? And then I had to look up a little bit higher.
He's level 11. He's the same level as enemy carry hero right now, which is pretty impressive. He didn't die a single time, isn't heavily involved in any of the kills in like 3 out of 7, but he's farming quite a lot. On the side, this outer ring pretty much belongs to Tinker. He's also going into Triangle. As I said, the heroes that they do have are not really farming the Triangle really well, especially Mars. This hero is very, very bad at farming the Ancients.
Arena used, Sonic Wave comes through. Niku's gonna die here by the mid-tier 2. Start to throw some damage on with the Jakiro.
We haven't seen much from NAVI Junior, other than that one rotation to the top lane where they killed Mars, and also where they grouped up as 4-5, managed to get a kill on Dragon Knight. So right now, it feels very difficult for them to play the game. Falcons are controlling most of the map, and also getting into these items. We said the way Skeeter plays his Dragon Knight is pick up a Blink Dagger, try to get a kill or 2, then he starts farming up more, goes back to Armlet, goes back for S and Y, so that's going to be his status resistance, slow resistance as well. Trying to make a move on him. That Blink Dagger coming in handy, just TP out, it's that easy, they have no stuns whatsoever.
Yeah, they didn't have the Shadow Shaman nearby to stop that TP out. You make the skank, you've got 4 heroes here to do so, and you come up empty-handed. Closing in on this Radiance, though. At least got the juice. He's top of the net worth. That's your biggest silver lining right now. And PMA's got a lot of farm. The big net worth difference is truly
it's
the Tinker. So, like, the net worth is 6,000 ahead, but it's not this crazy lead. It's not the same. But having Solar Crest and having Holy Locket this early into the game certainly make these fights a little bit harder for NAVI Junior.
I want to see NAVI Junior strike once that Radiance is up. They also need to be aware of potentially Falcons going for Roche. In terms of damage that they have against Roche, it's not like the fastest Roche taking lineup, but they do have Sustain from Tinker. They do have Solar Crest, which is very nice, getting some extra, barrier, getting that attack speed. And Snaking getting close to his Aghanim Scepter, 1,500 gold away.
Ags Watch 2025. First item rush, Ags Watch. He's close. So PMA gonna wrap around from behind. They're gonna have the Lifestealer TP into this. That Balance Strike hit onto 3. They go to the Sonic Wave immediately. They should be able to get the kill on the Ziots with the arena around him and PMA. But the Icarus dive, the Supernova, and that's gonna be an egg popped. They got the juice, and 3 heroes are dead on the side of NAVI Junior as Niku's looking for at least a kill. Balance Strike will take out Crit, finding Snake King, and we'll find a third. He tries to TP out, but won't escape with the God's Rebuke from Amar to get that 4th kill for the side of Falcons.
Overall, considering everything, not too bad of a fight for NAVI Junior, even though they did lose 4. As soon as they picked up that Radiance, they did go and start to play more aggressively as we expected, but yeah, Shaman is going to have a rough time. There's literally no protection for him. You don't want to use Sunray on him anyway. So he gets jumped, he's going to die instantly, and this is when the fight gets much easier for them because they have no control. They have Boundless Strike, and you can see that they're not also giving respect to this Wukong's command. Skitter's super tanky, sitting in the middle of a fight. You are a guy that has quite a lot of armor. You're playing into 3 heroes that deal physical damage. Solar Crest, a lot of value we saw from Tinker, and in the end he's going to die, but the rest of the team is going to be ready to clean up. So PMA is the only guy who survives this, but still showing that they can fight back.
They showed a little bit, but that looked like, honestly, one of the best executions it's going to be for NAVI Junior in terms of they had a 3-man Balance Strike, they had Wukong's going, Supernova was in a decent spot, and it still falls apart. They're going to need it to be even better. I mean, the net worth is still 6,000. They didn't give up too much, but they're hoping this next fight can be a step above, and that maybe starts with Niku getting another item. He needs this BKB. He's so far away from it, but he really needs this item.
He's also a little bit under-leveled in this game. So is Queen of Pain. They're both level 13. Tinker's level 14 as a position 5, and he has insane amount of farm. As you pointed out, that Solar Crest, Holy Locket was done. Now he already has mech on top of that, going into Guardian Greaves, which is going to tank them up quite heavily. Warp Flare available as well.
Warp Flare making that fight a little bit more difficult. We see that this is a Solar Crest that is 38 seconds faster than the previous record. So the farm, as you can see for Tinker, is quite a lot and quite quick.
This has to be one of the more farm Tinkers we've seen in some time.
Definitely is. I mean, he's keeping up with Skeeter and everybody on his team, honestly. He's a 4th core, legitimately. Core in terms of net worth, support in terms of items as he picks up the mechanism. They'll look to finish those Guardian Greaves, and then you've got even more sustain. When it gets even more difficult. They'll look to go for this Lifestealer.
Perfect spell casting.
And that is an easy kill. Ziots will try to TP out. The damage won't be enough, and he does successfully do so, but they got the Lifestealer, they got what they came for. Falcons, again, just tightening up the map on NAVI Junior.
I think this might be one of the few times where we are going to be seeing SNY on Mars. This guy, he just plays it differently, and look what he has queued up. Aghanim Scepter Satanic. He wants to meme it up. This is what I love about the Mar. SNY is good in this game. It does allow you to have extra tankiness, status resistance, because he thinks the BKB is not going to do much, considering what he's playing into. PMA
has his back turn, not taking that much damage. Serpent Words around Amar. Wukong's command, Niku, though,
and run away.
He's not really looking to stay near anybody in the Wukong's command. Instead, what he's doing is putting himself in the corner.
Out. They have nothing. If Shanm is not close by, Boundless Strike have been used.
They might reinitiate. Skeeter's on the edge. They might look to go back in. I mean, Amar's certainly looking for an opening point.
Roche is down to half HP. Navi, they want to take this fight.
Need to be careful still. They don't have the arena. They don't have Sonic Wave.
Sonic Wave in 10, arena in 7 seconds.
Jump in, there's the Hex coming through from Ziots. They go to the Supernova, the Boundless Strike is there. Can they get the kill to Amar? They will. That's a second dead on the side of Falcons. The Age is gonna be snatched up by Got the Juice. Sonic Wave flies through. PMA still alive for the moment, but they find themselves that first kill onto the Life Stealer. Now Reen is dead. Crit has got the Viscous Nasal Goo on him. Boundless Strike gets the kill onto Crit, looking for Skeeter, and NAVI Junior have a full team wipe.
Those Serpent Wards that they dropped, even though it trapped Mars just for a little bit, it wasn't too bad, because they also allowed him to go inside a Roche pit, attack it. It was kind of a zoning ulti, and as we said, Lifestealer, he should have a pretty easy time. If he's not getting initiated on, if he's having a free fight, he's going to be dealing a lot of damage, and I think Amar will need to change his item build. After seeing what just happened, this Aghanim Scepter, not the item that we see almost ever on the hero, but yeah, we'll see if he decides to commit for it.
That is a big team fight that puts, all of a sudden, NAVI Junior ahead in net worth and gets Niku back in the game. He's top 3.
He's definitely back. All 3 cores from NAVI are on top of the list right now.
I don't know if I was expecting Niku to get back in at all. With the way that his farm and his game was going. I mean, even in that last fight, the first half of that fight, he throws down Wukong's and then goes up the steps and hides in the corner because he knows he can't really stand his ground. But ultimately, that really did work out for NAVI Junior. We got ourselves a game.
NAVI Junior, they're in a really good spot right now. They managed to survive through the toughest period of the game for them, and now the items are starting to pile up. PMA, he's also going into SNY. Pipe of Insight is ready, level 18 on him. The cores are becoming very, very tanky on their side. Sure, you can turn Bristleback with Mars, but in terms of damage, if they're fighting like they did in the previous fight, Falcons are going to have a hard time.
They find the Hex. They think about the Wukong. Skeeter's even going to jump in. The Serpent Wards are committed, and they will go 1-for-1, but now PMA is here. Amar stunned up. The jump over to the other side with a shard. He drops the arena and the spear, but he's still dead. Crit will TP out. No Shadow Shaman means pretty much no lockdown. And all of a sudden, NAVI Junior, they get another 2, and they find themselves Skeeter, who is way out of position, away from the rest of his team, but no Shadow Shaman means no lockdown, just TP out.
Yeah, maybe I would prefer if Phoenix did go for Rod of Atos, considering what he's playing into. We saw how good it can be yesterday when it was BetBoom playing against Aurora, when both of the supports, they had no lockdown. Both of them did rush Rod of Atos. One on Warlock, one on Shadow Demon. Would definitely love to see something similar. Or if Phoenix, I see that he's going for the Glimmer Cape, which is a very defensive item overall. He's committing for it. I would prefer if it's either Atos, maybe even Hex. Hex is a bit more on the expensive side, but I do feel like they need extra bit of lockdown.
I'd like to see Lifestealer also. He's got BKB then Basher queued up. I'd almost like to see him get this Basher first.
Depends. If somehow they manage to take Roche, which is going to still be very long respawn, I'd be fine with Basher, but yeah, I think if he gets BKB in this game, he's going to have a pretty free entry to the fight. Rage, another BKB, so that's basically 9, 12, 21 seconds of your debuff immunity. Let's see what Amar has been cooking with his itemization. Definitely decided to change things up after what happened in the previous 2 fights. Wants to tank up a little bit more, seeing that all the damage is physical. I like the AC that he is trying to get. Might change his mind. I also don't mind them getting Hex on one of the heroes because they can have that instant initiation. And Zayats again dropping the wards.
Yeah, drops the wards, holds out on the edge of the Hex to look for that shackle and the control. They get the kill to Mallory, the pop, the BKB on Niku. They'll go after Snaking. This should be a second kill. Even with the upgraded Macro Pyre, they do not care. And 2 more kills for NAVI Junior. All of a sudden, they have 5K lead.
In a full control of this game.
Yeah.
They're going to be controlling the map now that Zayats picked up Blink Dagger. It's going to make their gank so much easier to execute. And there's also another big item coming out on Niku. About to finish off Nullifier, which is going to make Tinker's life miserable. So your Solar Crest, your Defense Matrix, it's not going to work.
I don't have any vision where Skeeter is right now. But they did go through the Twin Gate, maybe looking for him, kind of under the assumption that if he was farming there, he might farm there again. And if Niku can get into the trees and maybe surprise him, they do have Zayats with the Blink Dagger and the Hex Shackle combo. They'll activate that Watcher, but Skeeter's gone back into the base, so he's safe from anything that NAVI Junior are going to do so far over in this bottom lane area. PMA just farming up. What's he going for next? He wants a BKB of his own, but he's got Blade Mail, Pipe, SNY, and he has been a big reason for why they've been able to sustain this game and sustain those fights, especially the one near Roche. I mean, 210, he's only died once, and he has been putting out a lot of damage.
Yeah,
and then he's, of course, got that green Snot Rocket facet that has helped out, too.
It synergizes so well with all of their heroes.
Yeah.
Shadow Shaman drops the wards, reducing their armor. Monkey King, of course, with his Wukong's command, and Lifestealer, he's all about that physical, except for Radiance. Roshan may respawn in less than 2 minutes.
PMA gonna try and get this BKB, but the smoke timing from NAVI Junior, they want to fight right now. It's gonna be led by Shadow Shaman, but they have to find the right opening. Blink, Zayats, finds Skeeter, but now throws the shackles onto this Jakiro, the Boundless Strike onto the Serpent Wards are there, and they get both supports. Initially went for the DK, but got the Serpent Wards around both supports, and they just get those kills with ease.
Zayats is carrying this game pretty hard. Like, he has target on his back. They know that they need to kill him first, but he's managing to initiate first underneath this vision. Jumps in, and let's see. It was 65-35 and down to 35-65, so pretty balanced all over. Zayats, he is smoked. Does have Ninja Gear, which is going to allow him to get even more pickoffs.
Give him that movement ability without being seen and hoping to find a blink target to go for. Trying his best, and Zayats, he's led the charge so far, and he's gonna have to kind of be perfect continually through this game. He is their only source of real lockdown.
The only way they lose this fight, if somehow they get initiation on Lifestealer, he gets locked down from 100 to 0 with some Macropyre, Dragon Tail Stun, Arena, Sonic Wave. There is insane amount of damage on side of Falcons. It's just, can they execute? Can they find the target? There's also going to be Sunray, Glimmer Cape, Solar Crest trying to reduce some of that damage. But he also does have status assistance, 3000 HP, 3.5 with Armlet. Pretty tanky, and this is the third BKB. Now for NAVI Junior.
20 seconds on Roche. About. You looked at me, so I couldn't commit. I was going to say 20 seconds, not say another word. Then you gave me this, are you sure look? And
you need this fake confidence.
and I'll be able to get draft analysis out there. Got the juice just hitting away at Skeeter for the moment. And they've got the Serpent Wards. It's around on crit, so they should be able to get the kill here onto the Tinker, who is surrounded for the moment, but the BKB's going to run out soon for the Monkey King. He'll go to the Wukong's command. The Sonic Wave pushes him for a moment, but they get the kill to Omar. That's going to be 2 heroes down on the Falcons. And for right now, NAVI Junior, they've opened up what could be the next Aegis if they're by Roche when it respawns in a couple seconds.
I love that Zayats is, I see hero, I drop wards, pretty much. That's his mentality coming into this game. Every single time he's gonna drop it, doesn't care too much about it. It's not that long of a cooldown, it's 110 seconds, but he also wants to make sure that they're not gonna be taking that fight. And as I said, They're trying to go on Lifestealer, try to burst him down from 100 to 0, but Amar was not in that fight. They definitely need the arena. Problem is he also has status resistance. He's super tanky, and I love what Got the Juice is building. He's going for Satanic, so even more tankiness. It's going to be his Dispel mechanic. He understands that if he doesn't die through initial burst, he's going to be able to clean up the fight.
Numbers on up top, even down 12,000 net worth, are favoring Falcons. That's pretty crazy to me. Balance strike with the double fire on a Skeeter. They're going to TP and crit and turn this around. The help is just not there for this Monkey King. Warp Flare, but Zayats, now he's here with the Blink Dagger. Hits the Shackle. That might be enough to hold out while this Bristleback, Lifestealer, and Phoenix come over. But instead, they got this kill into the Monkey King. He's not the one holding the Aegis. It's going to be Got the Juice. They've got the Hex. It's going to be on the Skeeter. Infest popping out. Shackles now onto the DK, but now you're sitting in the Macro Pyre. They go to the Supernova. It's off to the side. But Egg isn't going to be enough to deter it. They start to split away from the fight. They get the kill to the Jakiro.
Blink is
one
ready.
hero dead on Falcons. They'll come through, Blink Dragon Tail onto the Lifestealer, a little bit of help from a Croaker, but Skeeter TPing, hexed, and stopped, and killed. Zayats, though, he's in trouble, falls to crit, the arena is down, the spear is gonna be off the mark, and now Malrine needs to be thinking about whether or not he can stay, because Grit, he's being focused.
He got out.
He gets away just by the skin of his teeth.
Malrine has a blink ready again.
2 seconds. Blink over to the Croakers, not really the spot you want to be in because you'll get hit with the tendrils and you end up dying.
So many times I've seen these creeps grief, not just myself, but also professional e-athletes. It's the best creep in the game. Sorry, Kobold. The Kobold with Chalice was my favorite one, just
Rank
until
down.
we added those guys. But yeah, in terms of gold change, it still favors Navi, but you can see that they're fighting back. They managed to isolate Bristleback on the side. Very nice spear from Mars, allowed him to kick him out of the fight. And also Dragonite, in the end, he does die. Seems like the call there was, we still want to take the fight, because Skeeter could have easily blinked out and get out of trouble.
It all starts with Niku kind of by himself, though, right?
Yeah.
And it's NAVI Junior who have a long way to go before they're able to fully react. So Falcons take advantage of that, get the kill on the Monkey King. When he's out of the fight, they don't have that Wukongs. They don't have that extra presence of a now farmed Monkey King. They'll go for Amar, though. They've got the Shackle. Skeeter's going to blink Dragon Tail to stop the Shackles, and they've got the Spear that lands onto the Monkey King, but Zayats with the Glimmer Cape is able to walk away, and Skeeter melts. He's standing in a Macro Pyre that's friendly, and he's still the one who melts away. They're going to look for more. They've got the Hex on Malrine. They've got the Shackles that land under the Jakiro. That's 2 heroes dead. Sonic Wave to push them back, but this still isn't looking good for Falcons.
Very difficult fights for them. They're way too tanky. All 3 cores on NAVI Junior. Look at the amount of HP that they have. 4,000 HP on your Lifestealer with Satanic, still holding the Aegis for another 2 minutes. No Sonic Wave for 60 seconds. Where's the damage going to come from?
Tier 3 will fall in one more shot. The backdoor is back up. So they hold the tower with 12 health. 43.
They need a repair kit.
Ooh, bring that back.
Nah.
No, nobody wants it. Bring back that and the 5 shrines on the high ground to make going high ground miserable.
I don't know which I hated more. I think shrines, actually.
They were in the game at the same time, weren't they?
I don't think they were. I think it was...
I think at the beginning they were, then repair kit was gone, then they slowly got rid of the shrines. It was a rough time to want to go high ground. Shackle. Now the Nullifier on a Skeeter, they're going to start to TP over and react. Ice Path, Warp Flare, both hitting onto Got the Juice. All things considered, he's A-okay though. Still holding on to the Aegis for 45 seconds.
How many nullifiers do you want? Yes, they have 3 of them right now. Even Lifestealer disassembled his Radiant.
Blink in, Infest pop. They've got the Shackles and the Serpent Wards down. This is also by the Tier 3 tower, so it may be enough to get the tower afterwards, but the Arena and the Sonic Wave in a 4. Supernova on the back line. Zayats is dead with the Macro Pirate's going to be onto this Lifestealer. He's got the Aegis for 20 more seconds, but they'll go after Skeeter. They've got at least a bit more time with the Aegis, so Lifestealer feeling confident enough to go for Skeeter and get the kill to the Dragon King, Dragon Knight, and then they'll look for a +1 on Snake King. He gets run down and got the juice. Just dominating the game at the moment.
A few seconds left in that Aegis. PMA still only one death to his name. He's really a menace in the front line. Level 25 has 800 damage on this Bristleback.
Whew.
I think this has to be one of the few games, might be one of the only games where we see all 3 cores having Nullifier. Might need to check the stats later, but definitely not an item that you see picked up on all 3 cores, and they just want to say, well, we hate you, Tinker. We don't want you to use any of your abilities, pretty much. AC now completed, and so is Shiva's. Big items inside of NAVI Junior.
Zayat's gonna get that shrine, and that will lead to him being level 18 and having that last level in the Mass Serpent Wards. He's going for a BKB too. He's far from it, but going for it. They're up 21,000 net worth with an amplified damage over in the bottom lane. Maybe they set up to go for another fight, but with no Aegis, they might want to play it safe. Abyssal on the docket for Lifestealer, but what do Falcons need to really turn this one around? They're going Kaya Sanj on Queen of Pain. Not sure that'll be the big difference maker. They're looking BKB on DK, but he is nowhere near getting that item.
Malrin's doing a very good job trying to cut into backlines and get some of the cleanup, knowing that if they kill Shadow Shaman instantly, the lockdown on their side isn't really there, so he can't afford to play as aggressively, and he's super tanky. 3,000 HP on him with Shiva's Guard, Whisper of the Dread on top of that. NAVI Junior. We're looking for a pick-off here.
Now with a team that's a big underdogs and probably know it, we'll see how willing they are to pushing without the Aegis. Right now, they have no regard. They do not care, but they land the spear. They've got the arena to go to the Sonic Wave, and now the Warp Flare is going to be out of the Lifestealer. He's in some trouble, but he's starting to heal up with the Satanic. They get the kill on a Skeeter. He is dead. 74 seconds, no buyback. It looked like they had Lifestealer, but instead, they get hit with the juice.
That's why I liked his itemization. This Satanic really making the difference, allows him to sustain. If this is some other item, if this is your, for example...
X on a Malrine.
Malrine.
Nullifier, Boundless Strike, the control. Is it there? The blink away, the attempt to leave, but PMA is right there with him. Another Nullifier and another kill for NAVI Junior.
This just might be it. No buyback on Dragonite, no buyback on Queen of Pain. 80 seconds. They have definitely more than enough damage. Let's see the call that they're going to make, whether they want to get Mega Creeps or they want to go for an end. Without Queen of Pain, without Dragonite, they definitely don't have the damage to fight back. And this Bristleback, he does hit like a truck. We said right now, 600 damage on him.
GG is called. NAVI Junior will take game 1 from Falcons and are now 1 game away from going to the playoffs, and in doing so would also knock out Falcons.
Man, what a team. This team is full of surprises and fall cost.
Thank you very much, and coming into game 2, not a position that many people thought Falcons would be in, but they are 1 game away from getting eliminated here, and this could be a potential issue for the side of Falcons. You know, they got to play perfect up to this point. They're playing up against that Shadow Shaman again from Zayats that proved to be pretty strong. And this time around, they have a little bit more lockdown than just the Shadow Shaman. They've got the Centaur with the Hoof Stomp and potentially an Echo Stomp, get the sleep, and work with something a little bit more now.
Yeah, they also are using a hero that pretty much Falcons love to use on 24 most of the time. This Timbersaw could have a good game. It is explosive damage. This is a hero that Tenacious Prophet doesn't like to play into. In terms of lockdown, panel did discuss about some of the cheap ones that Falcons do have in this one, but NAVI Junior, again, they have a very good draft. I'm favoring slightly Falcons in this one, but NAVI Junior, they had a pretty free game where we're talking about the Lifestealer in the previous game. This time around, the Templar Assassin, I think you mentioned her win rate. It's not really that great. It's sub 50%. It's been picked a lot, but the hero just doesn't seem to deliver in most of the games.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a lack of delivery, but maybe this time it can deliver to get it to that 50% win rate if possible. But TA was thought about as being very, very strong. I mean, this hero was banned out quite a bit and was definitely one of the higher, it's still the second highest contested hero. Banned 63 times, and sometimes it's a little bit surprising. You see these bans compared to the win rates when it finally gets through. Niku is definitely who I want to be watching. Didn't have the best start to the last game. He was CSing fine, I would say, initially.
Yeah, especially first couple of levels. He played extremely well. He was forced to go back to Fountain, came back and was ready to deliver, and he definitely did after picking up that Maelstrom. This time around, he's going to have a much easier time in his lane. He's going to be playing against Dragonite, as Timber saw, so that's a good matchup for him. And panel also discussed about the lane setup, how they're going to go, who's going to be playing, especially where this Tusk is going to go. So this is going to be Tusk paired up with Razor, which is a strong offlane duo. They need a little bit more time to come online, but you have a stun setup, which is exactly what Razor needs. Not just you have slow, you have stun, you have block. I don't think you can ask for a better laning partner than that. And in the top lane, it's going to be two range heroes playing into Centaur. I don't think Centaur is going to have easy time in this lane, because Shaman doesn't deal well with Greater Treant, and you're also playing into a lot of slow, a lot of harassment damage. And this is something that I wanted to see yesterday from Toronto Tokyo. When you're playing Centaur into a bad lane, you need to get a bracer, you need to get even double bracer, and it seems like that's what PMA is looking to buy, because you need to have those cheap items straight away. You can't allow yourself to get Vanguard. It's way too greedy. You can still go back for it, considering that you're playing into heavy physical damage from Falcons, but yeah, I do think you need some smaller items to be able to survive the laning stage.
So when you get those two bracers and you start to try and get that cheap health and sustain in the lane, does that mean that maybe you're also looking for Zayats to move around the map more and not really stick in the lane and you get that solo experience, or do you still need him to be here?
I want to see Zayats stack when the lane goes back to the tower, if they can mess with the equilibrium, so PMA will be getting solo XP while Zayats is going to be stacking. This time around, they do have very good heroes that they can clear the stacks with, and so does Falcons. In the previous game, they didn't really have that. Looking at the mid lane, Malrine, he's putting quite a lot of pressure on Niku, who is about to finish off his bottle. There it is. It just got delivered.
Niku got a little bit of an extra chunk of gold because he was able to step up and kill Malrine's courier earlier on. So was happy to get that. He's 11-0 for the moment. And much better from him this time around. Doesn't have to really worry about Shadow Strike and that kind of harassment in a lane like this. Centaur has that first bracer. Does have that extra circlet and another stack of tangos coming out for him. So PMA, who is a big part of their success in game number 1, trying to do that here again in game number 2. That bristleback and what he was able to accomplish when they were down about 7,000 net worth, especially that fight by the Roche Pit that happened on the bottom side Roche Pit. You know, he was probably, in my opinion, the most impactful.
Him and Zayats definitely did carry that game pretty heavily. They had great atomization as well. It seems like they do understand some of these matchups. And right now, PMA sitting at 12 CS. Razor is the one who's struggling the most. Fear did mention that once you hit level 3, level 4, this is where the hero becomes much stronger. So with the 2 points in ability, it does allow you to play much more aggressive. This is where Got the Juice will need to start being, I would say, much more careful. Does have 2 points in Valdemar. Still thinking about what he wants to get, whether it's gonna be good static link if he manages to close the gap. He doesn't have Boots of Speed available yet. It's being delivered on the courier. I think once they get that, they're gonna try to play slightly more aggressive, but they need to push out the wave first.
Zayat's top. So we saw it last game, the 3v3. A little bit later into the game, I'd say once that 7-minute mark happened, they were playing try v try. Wondering if we'll see Zayats make that move. Mid lane though, Niku still doing well, 22-2. You know, to have such a good performance in terms of CS initially in a bad matchup and now kind of replicating that here is pretty impressive. Marine though on this DK. What's the difference between him on the DK and Skeeter on the DK?
You still want to buy Blink Dagger from your mid Dragonite, and you also want to be building, I think this time around. Mage Slayer is very good against Timber. Against other heroes, not so much. So I want to see if he still opts to go for it. It gives you magic resistance, which isn't really the greatest as well in this game, considering that Timber is all pure. So I want to see if he decides to go for something different. Maybe he's going to be picking up something like Orchid. We'll have to see how the game develops, how much farm he's going to be able to get. But also Hurricane Pike. This is your kind of a core item. Also, loving the build on PMA. He did go for 2 points in Hoof Stomp. He wants to be able to get maybe some extra bit of a pressure, but I also see that they are making a move in the bottom lane. Zayats, he's making rotation. Boots of speed ready, blood grenade.
So has that cluster cluck and will go in with the shackle, trying to keep Amar close for the first blood, and will be first blood for Got the Juice. Start with that initial hex, and then you've got the chicken fingers ready to go.
This is what you wanted to see, either him being aggressive when Centaur's farming close to the tower, or if he's gonna go to the jungle and get some stacks. So he makes a rotation, they set things up on Razor, they're trying to shut him down.
It's good movement from Zayats, realizing PMA now can kind of sustain. It does also pull the Jakiro. He's come off the lane. He's going towards mid. Zayats going to sit here and maybe help out for the 6-minute rune 2, and that's the reason Jakiro and Tusk are here mid as well.
Catapult, the Dragon Form is ready, so they want to be able to get something done. Timbersaw is still level 5. Malrine playing this matchup really well, opting to go for double bracer to have that extra bit of a sustain, extra bit of damage. So that's why we see the difference. 2.7k compared to only 2.3. And now with both supports and Catapult,
they can
really is a hero that can rotate. I think this tower is done so. They need to bring something else. I think ET needs to come and try to stop them, but it might be too late.
Yeah, he's walking over, and that's just a little bit too late. They do finally have 6, so they have Shackle, but there's the Dragon Tail. They go to the Hex, and now the Twisted Chakram. They get the Kona Snake King. Got the juices here. They'll hit this sleep, so they might want to go for the damage and more, but got the juice. Throws one right click and then backs away. They do end up saving the tower, which is pretty important. Now back off for the Shrine. It's going to be Zayats who grabs this one. Meanwhile, Crit will TP to get his own.
It does relieve. My brain stopped working there for a second. Some pressure off Nature's Prophet, but it also removes some of the pressure from Centaur, who did go for triple bracer. Not just that, but yeah, going into Blade Mail, so wants to be as tanky as possible. 1700 HP on this guy. You need to bring a lot of heroes to be able to kill them.
And he's accessorizing quite well. Immediately the dust. They try to go for Got the Juice. They brought Skeeter here. The snowball connects. He gets the refraction off again, but that's going to be wiped out. Eventually, he will fall to Amar. Niku makes the rotation, though. And throws that Chakram, but Malrine is here, and that's going to be another. 2 heroes dead from Falcon's rotation. Having everybody down here, and they'll be able to get 3 as they take out Zayats. And they move everyone to the bottom lane, and they'll even go and put the pressure onto this tower.
That tower's gone as well. There is amplified damage available. The map is getting smaller. NAVI Junior, this time around, Timbersaw, he's getting shut down. He really doesn't have an item. PMA, Stampede is ready. This is also a rotation pre-level 6 on Nature's Prophet, so for the next fight, they will have Wrath of Nature available.
That'll be some extra damage. See if Got the Juice can survive that time. Right now, the game's kind of staying the same pathway the last game stayed. They
closed the map pretty heavily by taking out the mid and the safe lane towers of NAVI Junior early on. I think the biggest difference was that they had a position 4 that was farming like crazy and Crit that had the Tinker to play. So we'll see if that kind of sticks its ground, and I guess we'll see if PMA, he's going Blade Mail first, how much on Zayat's the pressure will be to try and be that playmaker again.
He has a little bit of protection compared to the previous game where there was literally nothing. This time there is Echo Stomp, there is Stampede to maybe bail him out of trouble. PMA, he's been pretty silent. He continues to farm up on Centaur, level 7 right now. So he's got the Juice, who is going into pretty standard items. And there's that move.
Shackle connection, Crit's gonna die. Zayat's getting credit for that.
Niku even places Brand just to get that extra bit of a damage.
I respect it. PMA's got 3 points in the Retaliate aura. And I mean, he's closing in on this Blade now. How far? Just 150 gold. Falcon's not afraid to play his 5, and we'll see if maybe NAVI Junior feel the need to kind of group up with this Centaur once he's got this Blade Mail to make a couple of moves. They were able to get that kill onto Amar for first blood. They haven't really committed to going for a big fight since then, after, of course, Falcons brought the whole kitchen sink bottom. They've got a lot of vision down here for the side of Falcons, too. TA standing under some of it, but is in the lane, of course. But they also have it that'll see got the Juice inside that jungle there, too.
He's cutting them out with this trap. Seeing that Malrine doesn't have a Blink Dagger yet. Instead, he's going to TP top. PMA, he's in trouble.
He's not going to survive this. Doesn't even get the Stampede off. But again, just bringing all these heroes over to make sure that they get this kill and slow down Centaur. So him and Niku kind of close together on the net worth. They're not too far of where this Razor and Nature's Prophet are, but this is going to be another and the last Tier 1 tower going down.
Yeah, they even planted a banner. This is not Roshan's banner. It is Creepwave banner, if I'm seeing correctly. Does give you extra 2 damage for every Creepwave member, the original Creepwave member that you have. So they're going to finish off the tower. Stampede is ready, but seems like Zayats might be in trouble. We saw how Zayats was playing in the previous game. Drops the wards immediately whenever he sees a hero, and that's what I like to see. Be able to scout things out and get the courier, but does not want to reveal himself.
Yeah, doesn't even get that courier, and they back away without any losses. Dragonlance Desolator for got the Juice, or at least he's got the Desolator queued up. Now with the Blink and the Hurricane Pike. They've used these Serpent Wards in the top lane to try and get a tower of their own. They have yet to get a tower. And got the Juice. He is just hiding within the meld away from these heroes. Nothing too crazy happening for NAVI Junior. But they're smoked up on Falcons. They're looking for an opening. They might be able to find the Elder Titan, and they will. Macropyre committed immediately. They will get this kill. It's Wrath of Nature that gets that finishing blow. But Falcons, they've moved around. They've moved around in numbers.
Which also allows NAVI Junior to get to farm. TA, one of the fastest farmers in the game, continues to be on top of the net worth. You said itemization-wise, he's just getting very close to his Deso. This is going to be the big timing. If he gets it pre-15 minutes, they smoke up, drop down Serpent Wards. They should be able to get the fight and maybe even get the Tormentor after that.
PMA again.
Hey.
He'll Stampede this time, but they've got the Sprout ready, and he can't get away. So that puts Stampede on cooldown. And again, 4 heroes. Every time Falcons, they're just bringing numbers. And there's nothing that NAVI Junior at the moment can do to react.
Ooh, this Observer Ward that they placed earlier, snaking near the Tier 2 tower in the mid lane, is providing them with a lot of vision. They see these TP rotations, so they're seeing where the heroes exactly are. So now Falcons, after using a couple of their spells, they're going to be ready to go back into the jungle and continue to farm up. Malrine goes back to the bottom lane through the Twin Gates. Let's see if they decide to plant some vision around that area as well, because they definitely have more than enough damage to deal with Tormentor, with Shadow Shaman, with Templar Assassin's Deso, which should be finished before that 15-minute mark, but I'm also looking at Falcon's physical damage. It's gonna be very, very good. You're playing Green Dragonite, Razor as well with his Eye of the Storm, reducing the armor, and then you have all physical damage from Tag Team. So all of these heroes who are supposed to be tanky, like Centaur and Timbersaw, they're not gonna be surviving as long as you would want to with these heroes.
Gonna be a bit of an issue for NAVI Junior that they need to figure out how to come back from. Right now, they're very reliant on Got the Juice, who is 200 gold away from picking up this Desolator. But is Desolator even the item to look for NAVI Junior to want to start fighting, or are they going to wait for the Blink Dagger too?
No, they definitely want to take the fight. I think they understand that they need to do something. They would love to have Blink Dagger as well on PMA, who is getting close to it. I think this third Bracer was a bit too much, because you have to get rid of one of your items relatively soon. That's going to be your Quelling Blade. You're going to be playing it to Nature's Prophet, so you're losing some of the value. So I prefer it to just a double, and then we'll have to see what he decides to go for. I still think it's a very good Crimson game, because Crimson scales really well with Centaur, especially later when you get the double-edged shard. Big kill.
Stampede, but there's the Walrus Punch. Crit will get the kill, and that will slow out this TA, but they look for something in return. They drop the Serpent Wards and get a kill and a crit, which, honestly, Falcons are fine giving up if they are able to get a TA kill out. He was waiting for that Desolator to ship out, so he's got that now regardless of the death. But this is a point where Skitter's taking over in net worth on this Nature's Prophet.
He's going for pretty standard stuff. Mjolnir, Hurricane Pike, BKB. This is the best items you can get on Nature's Prophet, pretty much in that order, because you don't want to use your BKB that early on. You're keeping the distance with Hurricane Pike, and Mjolnir does allow you to get the farm. And because they killed Templar Assassin, they're going to go in, and they're going to take Tormentor for themselves. They have more than enough damage. Snaking is going to be the one getting it. And this time around, Snaking is not playing greedy. He doesn't want to get Aghanim Scepter straight away. I think he understands that in this game, there's no need for him to get that extra bit of a damage, because you have Razor, you have Tag Team, Dragonite, and Nature's Prophet. You're not going to be lacking damage with the heroes that you do have. I like this move. Something that we did see quite a few times in the last couple of months with Tormentor. You know that one team did take it, which means that they are on the other side of the map, and you're going to go inside the Roche pit and take it for yourself, which is exactly what the TA wants to have. She want to be the hero holding the Aegis. Level 12 on him. Deso is available. Let's see if they can find any openings. They do have Blink Dagger available on Centaur. DMA, he's having a bit of a slower game compared to the previous one.
Certainly is. Niku's got way more farm at this point in the game than he did in the last games, so he can maybe make up the ground needed for Centaur to get back into the game this time around, instead of vice versa. Zayats early on had a Blink Dagger in game number 1, though dropped down level 1 Serpent Wards to put some pressure onto the tier 2, but they back away from the tower, and nobody, at least for the moment, is reacting.
It's the fake
on the side of Falcons.
Pretending that they're going to be in the top lane and immediately going through the Twin Gate. They're trying to backstab, use this Aegis. Got the juice. He doesn't have much mana to work with. He does have Clarity running on his Templar Assassin, a couple of wand charges, but you definitely want to be able to get some traps, to get multiple refractions, and now the backstab, it's coming. Let's see who they can find.
It's not the best target for them to get, but he'll be the one who gets jumped. Pop that blade mail, and they immediately decide, I think we should leave him, but now they turn back around. They go to the ice path. Stampede used because the snowball's coming over. They get the Walrus Punch. PMA is going to end up dead. They'll take out Crit. They'll look over to Marba. The Blink Dragon Tail in the macro fire is down. Got the juice in some trouble with the refraction of the Sprout. Oh boy. Locked down for a moment. They need to get him out, but they've got the stun. The sleep hits from Riddies, and that's going to be good to get the juice out.
They can't focus him.
Get Zayats. They only get Crit again. NAVI Junior, it looked like they were pinching well. But unfortunately, when the initiation starts onto the Tusk, they don't kill him immediately. They couldn't go on to any other targets, and the fight kind of broke down from there.
He buys so much time. This is like second or third time already where he's using the snowball, buying just enough time for the rest of the team to catch up, get in a good position. And Falcons, they had a pretty good read what's happening in that one. Immediately going to the high ground, snaking.
PMA is going to go for this. And they'll get a kill on a snaking. They got to kill Crypt before he's able to extend his life with that snowball. Especially.
This is pretty standard, I would say, lineup coming out from Falcons with 3 very tanky cores with items that they're buying. They're becoming super tanky as well. This is Dragonite, Amar with Manta Style, BKB. They also don't have any abilities that go through debuff immunity, so that's one of the reasons why we also see Malrine going for BKB of his own, so wants to be able to blink in and have a pretty, like, even without a BKB, you could still see that they're struggling to get on top of him. Immediately, they pop Mjolnir, and they're like, okay, we can't focus this guy.
What answers do you need from NAVI Junior, though? They're getting these BKBs on Falcons. Is the Ags going to be good enough for Niku? Do you see this Lotus coming through for Centaur? You know, you were talking about wanting him to get a Crimson, but is Lotus going to be a good enough item from Centaur as well?
I like Lotus, maybe not so early. If it really depends whether he's going to be able to precast that on his Templar Assassin or whoever's getting jumped by a Dragonite. It's also a good item to buy a little bit more time when you're using this snowball. He's having trouble surviving in most of these fights. He goes in, pops a blade mail, deals a little bit of damage, uses Stampede, but still dies afterwards.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Still sitting close. On net, we're 6-9 in favor of Falcons.
Nice.
Blink, Hurricane, Pike. TA still top of the net worth, which is to be expected. Lincoln's Daedalus. Forgot the juice.
Yeah, TA players, they are allergic to a BKB, as we've seen so many times in this tournament. It feels... you're running out of slots. If you go for a BKB, a lot of the times that BKB is not like really getting the value. You have to, like, for casual viewers, you're like, is this guy stupid? Why is he not buying a BKB? A lot of the times you have to think carefully what your item is going to be, whether the enemy carry is going to be building into Butterfly and everything, so you need to prepare getting MKB. And this one, he wants more protection about getting that initial jump rather than getting a BKB, because he knows that if he's getting jumped, also they don't have that many heroes again to save them with. Sure, you have Stampede, but if you're getting initiated on by Dragon Tail stun, you're still going to be locked on for good 2.5 seconds, and you're not going to be able to run away.
That could ultimately be a problem, which is why you want to block it with the Lincolns.
Yes.
Meanwhile, by the way, Nature's Prophet took both shrines, taking experience away from the side of NAVI Junior. And you can see, I mean, Elder Titan, he is level 9. Dragon Tail out of the TA. Walrus Punch through onto the Elder Titan. Hurricane Pike to try and get away. Should be out of the range of this snowball. Even blinks further out, but is on the run and eventually will TP to an escape. The support level difference is pretty significant. Both these supports for NAVI Junior only level 9.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Crit almost at 12. Snaking already is 12. They will smoke. They do have a Blink Dagger now on the Timber Saw. Who can they find?
He wants the most
Tower.
explosive damage he can get on Timbersaw, which I really like. I still think that he's going to need to have some kind of protection, probably a BKB afterwards, just to have that jump so that they can't stun him. They also don't have that much that goes through debuff immunity. Sure, you have Static Link, you have Punch from Tusk, but you can still run away, especially with Aghanim Scepter, before they can get a Dispel, and that's exactly what Malrine is buying into. He sees this Aghanim Scepter on Timbersaw, wants to be able to get rid of that. Next Roche. May respawn in a minute and 10 seconds. They would definitely love to have Lincoln Zero available on Got the Juice, who continues to farm up nicely, still staying on top of the net worth. Big difference between him and Skeeter, almost 3,000 gold ahead.
It's just the difference is he can't really execute with that net worth. And it's not as though their two other cores are that far behind, but the openings available for them and the way that they have to be playing around the map puts them in a position where they're always playing on the back foot. Falcons have constantly been the aggressors.
Look at this move from Skeeter. It is very annoying. So he TPs in, summons Greater Treant, uses Mjolnir on him, provides vision for his ulti to connect, so the lane is still going to be pushed. This is one of the issues. They pushed away pretty quickly. On side of Falcons, Tusk has Blink Dagger available as well. We can see Zayat sitting on 800 gold after finishing off Lens. He would definitely love to have Blink Dagger of his own so that he can't be the one initiating, following the Timbersaw, following the Centaur.
Sneaking in Amar. Just in duo together. Things kind of quiet down while we get to a potential spawn for next Roche. Let's see. Let's take a look at the clock. It is a long one. That is 2 minutes, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, around 2 minutes. I don't think net worth was more than 1,000. Maybe max 2,000 on side of Falcons, but that's about it. NAVI Junior still farming really, really well. You know, for this game, what I would like to see is for game to go like 60+ minutes. We have Team Falcons, so that's very doable.
Very possible.
They do love to play some longer games, but I want to see Aghanim Scepter on Centaur plus Aghanim Scepter on Shadow Shaman. The big meme where he puts him in the cart and Shadow Shaman shackles him, and then you have this damage around. Most of the Serpent Wards so far have been used to siege the tower. He solo killed the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Now with that Deso, extra bit of damage coming through. Use Serpent Wards twice in the top lane while they are getting Tormentor again.
Biggest issue is they've just been continually level 1. He's not getting a lot of experience out of the map. You would love for those Serpent Wards to be level 2, because he's used them a lot by these towers, and they just... It's taking a few attempts every time. It's not happening as quickly.
Yeah, they didn't time this correctly, so they stood around, farmed a little bit. And we'll get it in the end. Malrine is going to be the one getting it. Fireball, not the best shard, not an S-tier shard by any means. It's definitely somewhere near the bottom, but in this game it could come very handy. You're playing against Templar Assassin, dealing with refraction.
Just imagine being Tusk, though. This guy has double my net worth, and I don't even get the shard. Ridiculous.
50. That's how it works.
I guess I'll queue it up. Jerk. But all of a sudden, NAVI Junior, they're the ones who have a net worth lead. It's the slow grind of a farmy game. They want to get everything ready before they hit the Oregon Trail. Start their adventure into fighting. And got the juice. He's even going to go for the tier 2. You guys don't want to react. Okay.
That's a dead tower. Yeah.
I'll take your tower. You guys have a glyph, but I got the tier 1 and the tier 2.
Maybe it's time to even threaten the high ground. Zayats was definitely thinking about it. Maybe he drops the wards.
Nice. TP him
Gotta
back.
TP out. Nullifier ready. In terms of items that Nullifier counters in this game, there isn't really much. It's pretty much Timbersaw, Aghanim Scepter. This is the only usage because there are no Glimmer Capes, no Force Staffs or anything on the supports right now. They're going to smoke up. Roshan is available if they can get this fight going. Tusk.
They're going to jump in. Centaur goes through. They've got the Son of the 2. They've got the Shackles down on land. They'll get the kill to crit. They'll take the Tusk immediately. That means there's no snowball save for the moment. The BKB's going to be popped by Amar. They'll get the buyback from Crit. Timber Chain in. Niku in their face. Damage on the Snake King. Amar on the run. Ice Path lands, but one more right click from God the Juice. He'll get the kill to the Jakiro. He doesn't have a buyback either.
And immediately they're going into Roach Pit, so that's a buyback from Tusk. They can't take this fight. Amar is very low. I want to see the damage dealt by Timbersaw, because I feel like he just exploded.
Yeah, he did.
3,000 damage coming out from him. Jakiro actually dealing the most damage on Falcons. And this is another free Roche. NAVI Junior having a very good understanding what needs to be done in the game. Getting that first Roche, getting, I would say, good amount of farm out of it, and also stealing it potentially from Falcons, because they did go for Tormentor, and now taking a good fight, forcing a buyback out of their position 4. Got the juice. He's gonna pick up Aegis one more time. About to finish off Daedalus as well. This Templar Assassin being, I would say, we've seen some slower Templar Assassin games. This is what Hero does do. Because you want to farm up pretty similar to Tiny Carry, I would say, where he wants to get his Echo Saber, his Shadow Blade, his Shard, and then start to be active. She goes for Treads, Dragonlance, Deso, and then she's going to be ready to join.
All of a sudden, it's a lead that has been the highest up to this point for NAVI Junior. 3,000 in their direction. And here's the next thing for Niku, which will be Shiva's Guard. PMA, he got the Crimson, so
Yeah, it's
we
a
saw
very
it. He
good
is
Crimson.
survivable now.
The reason why we're seeing Crimson more like picked up later in the game, especially on Centaur, is it is your max HP. Before it was tied to your strength, I believe, or current strength, and now it's overall better. But because you also have Aghanim Shard with the double edge, it feels really nice. And something to point out is that he is keeping 1 point in double edge and did put more stats into it. This might be one of the few times, so he just wants to be as tanky as possible.
3,500 health, I think you've accomplished that. And 29 armor. They do have Serpent Lords. They will use them immediately, and the banner. They're angry because they'll use that Bruce banner. EKB for Skeeter. They have nothing to defend this in the moment.
They have to do something. They have to proc this Lincoln Sphere, try to get the jump.
Rax. Just blinks away. Sleep lands onto the Jakiro. They finally will take care of the banner. But do they still want to stay for the side of NAVI Junior? They can just wait for the next Serpent Wards. Slow burn it. It's only another minute. You'd still have a minute 45 left on that Aegis.
Damage has been done. Big item as well on Falcons. AC completed on Amar. He also wants to tank up, knowing that that damage from Templar Assassin needs to be reduced somehow. Behind enemy lines, Skeeter is going to do the trick one more time.
Cut the creep wave. The only issue with that is Got the Juice has pushed the creep wave himself. So yeah, the one behind it is dead, but TA doing his work to kill off the creep wave in front of his creep wave, and they get the kill on a Snake King. He doesn't have buyback again. And
Now
they
they're
can
going to
push
go
for
through
another
bottom.
lane. Yeah, why not?
Got the juice. Still holding the Aegis for 2 minutes.
Under attack.
Shadow Shaman, Serpent Ward's ready in 15 seconds. Jakiro, he's gone for 30. Does have buyback available. And also no glyph for Falcon, so this tower is going to be in trouble. They're
They
getting the
immediately
first
try
jump.
to go. Pop the Lincolns, get the stun, the fireball down, and then blinks away, at least for the moment. They have Serpent Wards again.
Now go through the mid lane. Top, bottom, mid. Deal a little bit of chip damage. Got the juice. He's pinging out Raider Treant with that Mjolnir on top of him. This time around, it's not going to be able to deal with the creep wave fully. Might be able to deal some damage. But I want to see them go for the high ground. I want to see them find the opportunity. Lanes are in a really good position.
Jakiro back up. Got the juice. Has those options. Apple, grape, cranberry. What kind of juice is he going for? What kind of siege will the side of NAVI Junior try to roll with? They had this Aegis for 40 more seconds, but it doesn't look like they'll approach the high ground again.
It seems like they wanted to get a pick-off, maybe something big. Even if they got a pick-off on
I say
position
that, but
4,
Zayats,
that could have been big. He
Hex
got
from
the
a distance. Serpent Wards are there. Zayats blinks to the other side, but the Ice Path is used. The BKB comes out. Now Amar's going to go after Zayats. Should have this kill with ease. So now he'll TP attempt out. They'll look for the sleep. They don't land it, but Zayats is dead, trying to make that move. Didn't wait for the Ice Path. Ice Path didn't come through until he started
tried
shackling.
to outplay him. He tried to blink on the other side to be able to stay away from the Ice Path range. Didn't do so. Got to juice 26,000 net worth on his Templar Assassin. Swift Blink is ready, and now he's thinking about getting the BKB, seeing that there's no butterflies or anything in this game. So with Swift Blink, you definitely have that extra bit of a movement speed, mobility with Hurricane Pike. So I think it's a good game if you're getting rid of your power treads and also getting closer to, I would even say level 25. Level 23 right now, about to crack 24. But once you get to that Melthead Bash refraction instances, I think they have a good amount of ways of dealing with refraction instances. So he's going to opt to go for Bash instead, because we just saw Razor as well TPing in front of them. Amplified damage is ready.
Since they took that tier 3 tower, they didn't get anything more. Nature's Prophet has finished a BKB, still at 9 seconds, and has the Revenant's Brooch. They've finished off some pretty important items for the side of Falcons that, from that point of where they thought they were going to break the high ground completely, has become a lot harder with the items Falcons have got.
Radiant are scanning.
How do you even deal with this? What's Skeeter's doing? Summons Greater Treant, TP's back to base. Clears that creep wave immediately. They know it's all about buying time. Templar Assassin is, not gonna say one-man army, because Timbersaw does scale. He's in.
Elder Dragon form, Nullifier, Ice Path, Macro Pyre, Walrus Punch, controlling this Timber. He's about half health, but they've got the Jackal on his Malreed, and they get crit! Amar on the run. He's popped the BKB, but the damage is going to be overwhelming. They get the kill to Riddies, though. He's got to try and leave Skinner with the BKB. He's going to be nearby, but the right clicks from Got the Juice. Can he get the kill? He's looking to get it off this trap, but not there for him. And now, finally, a stun from PMA and a kill onto Amar.
That's 4 heroes gone. They're gonna go in and try to make even more building damage. Let's see when Roshan is gonna respawn, and may respawn in a minute. It's gonna be about a minute, so this Timbersaw's providing a lot of vision for his team, blinking in, soaking up the damage, then he pops a BKB. And as we said, in terms of their damage, if he gets the BKB off, he doesn't care about the tag team. If he gets stunned by Walrus Punch, they need to bring him down from 100 to 0 with like Link, Dragon Tail stun. Nullifier that was purchased isn't really doing that much. He's first he gets nullified and he's waiting it out, and then he pops a BKB and then uses his reactive armor, and seems like again, Falcons, they're in a lot of trouble.
They just glyphed here, but they'll get it back off that Rax. Got the juice. I always love when TA players try to get the kill, bouncing it off this psionic trap, trying to get that last hit. Didn't quite get it there, but they did ultimately get the kill onto Amar, and they break mid 2 with the tier 3 gone. You can try to buy time with these treants, but
Roshan is about to respawn.
time's running out.
You can see Niku. He's going in, doesn't get a BKB, gets nullified immediately, and then a very good stun. And you see the damage, this explosive damage coming out from ET ulti and also Timbersaw. Just way too much, immediately down to half HP. Malrine disappeared, and now Roshan available. They hear it, but I don't know if they have time to react to it. It could be very difficult for Falcons. They need to forfeit this one. Roshan's banner, Refresh Shard Cheese, and Aegis.
I love
That's
the
what
excitement.
I want to see.
You know, you can't like celebrate too much in the moment. It's just one click, and then he's all right, back hands on keyboard.
We saw yesterday, Bibbidi Bobbidi team, when they were playing against Aurora, that they can't throw any type of a game. So this time around, Navi, they're gonna take it slowly. Falcons, looking at their buyback status, there isn't many available. Only 2 supports having buyback right now. They're investing into all items. They feel like they definitely need more. And I see what Amar's doing. This is has to be one of the latest Vanguard / Heaven's Halberd that we've seen in this patch.
Aegis, Cheese, 21,000 net worth lead. They get their first hands on the Tormentor. AC is going to be built for the Centaur. It doesn't look like we're going to get the Axe Shaman,
No,
Axe
it's a meme.
Centaur.
It's too big of a meme.
Memes can work, though.
It can work in pub, but these guys are professional e-gamers. They want to end the game right now and qualify to the playoffs. One game away.
Radiant's mid
One team fight away, potentially, for NAVI Junior. PMA
Falcons on the high
flanks
ground.
out. Woo!
They tried. Serpent Words around crit. Silence up on his Iots. They go to the Lotus Orb. It's going to be now reflecting this snowball back towards crit. The damage, though, Yule's up into the air. They've got the kill on a Snake King. He's going to buy back immediately. They've taken out crit. He's going to have buyback as well. But into the face of Skeeter is going to be Niku. On the other side of the fight, though, they found Amar. They've got the damage coming in from Got the Juice. One more right click with the bash off the mill. They'll get the kill. He's got 78 seconds. Doesn't have buyback. Now Reed's going to be next. Taking out the Dragon Knight. He does not have a buyback either.
He's ready.
This could be it for NAVI Junior. They lose Iots, but they don't care. They'll take
Get
out
the
Skeeter.
rampage.
Ultra kill for
They
Got
see
the
staking.
Juice.
There is trap. Got the juice. Blink ready in 10.
Looking for the kill onto Snake King. Crit's gonna try and be here for the save. Instead, they'll focus. They do not want to dive anywhere past this throne. They want to take the racks and finish this series. GG is called NAVI Junior. They 2-0 Falcons and move on to the playoffs. Wow.
And Amar giving him respect there, tipping him before he GG'd out.